Hey guys, this is Caleb, and today we are doing our part 2 of filters for video. Today we're looking at matte boxes and filtration accessories specifically for lenses. So today we're going to look at 3 matte box solutions ranging from like kind of the best but still somewhat budget oriented, and then really affordable great matte box, and then a killer solution that I found that's 50 bucks. And the first thing I want to do is talk about our goal for today and kind of my job, and that is to show you some solutions, and our goal is to find a way to add filters to our camera system that as little as possible compromise speed and movement. So these solutions I'm going to show you today are really easy to add, and they're matte boxes that are built for you. They're built for speed, they're built for when you need them, you throw them on there and you get your shot. When you don't, they disappear. So that's kind of our goal, and we don't want this stuff to hinder us when it comes to, lensing our cameras or anything like that. So before we jump into looking at the matte boxes, I want to show you how I set up my lenses for matte boxes. At the end of the day, there's really 2 very popular ways of getting a matte box on your lens. There is the rod-based system, so a matte box that clamps onto rods and maybe does or doesn't have a swing away, or you have clamp-on matte boxes where the matte box actually has a ring that tightens down on the ring of the lens. So I prefer the clamp-on method, and if I do use rod-based, I use it with clamp-on, so you can actually do both, and that turns your entire rig system into a rock-solid setup because your camera is supported at the back and it's supported at the front. So it's a great setup. So to do this, let's grab a lens. Here I have a Nikon 17-35. And the first thing we add is one of these Chord Vision rings. As we go through this episode, make sure you're on DSLRvideoshooter.com, and you can keep an eye on all the links that I'll be putting up for all this stuff. So this is a ring, and you can get it for different sizes, and you can adapt from different, filter sizes, or you can use step ups that get you to 77 millimeters, and that's what this filter is set at right here. You throw it on, and what this does is it gives you an outer diameter of 80 millimeters, which is exactly the size of most clamp-on matte boxes. And the beauty of this is, unlike a lot of rings that are supplied with most matte boxes, you still retain your 77 millimeter thread on the front. So that brings us to part 2 of this modification, and that is to get some Exume adapters, X-U-M-E adapters. These are magnetic adapters that let you really quickly add round filters. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on, and the beauty of that Exume adapter is that it retains the 80 millimeter outer diameter. So you can see it's flush with the first adapter we put on. Now, why are we doing this? The beauty of this setup is you can use this with any type of filtration tool. So for instance, here I have a clamp-on matte box. I can loosen this, clamp it on, boom, we have a matte box clamped on. I can take it off, set it aside, grab a fader ND with another magnetic adapter, snap it on. Now we have a really slick Genestech fader ND with this nice hood. Take that off. Let's say I'm about to do shoot at a craps table and I'm concerned about stuff hitting my lens. I can just grab my little glass filter here with that, again, that magnetic adapter, slap it on, shoot, okay, back to the matte box. It's just incredibly fast. You can do so many different things, and that's the whole goal behind using these, is you want to use them for filtration, but you don't want to be taking up a ton of time to do it. So this setup is very flexible, and the reason that I take the time to make sure all of my lenses are adapted this way. So that's how we do lenses, and now we're going to look at our first matte box, and that is the Genestech PV matte box. What I love about this matte box is not only the quality level, but this matte box kind of has almost every feature you could possibly want or need in a matte box. So first off, we have flags, obviously. Let me go ahead and put this on the rig here. And as we can see, we have flags. We've got our side flags. All this stuff is easily removable. So if you're kind of like me and you don't necessarily always need the flags and you want to really knock down, the rig size. So those come off. So here it is at its most stripped down setup, And what's great about this matte box is you have 2 trays, which is really nice. It lets you use 2 filters. One is rotating, so you could put a ND filter on here, and then you could add, some kind of filter that you would need to use rotation on. The filter trays natively are 4 by 5.6, so they take the larger filters, but they also accommodate 4 by 4 filters. So here I have an ND filter. I can slide it in here. I love how high quality these trays are. They're so much better than those cheap knockoff matte boxes out there. So there we have a 4x4 filter in a 4x5.6 filter tray. This is great if you have, a mix of filters, or if you're working with other shooters and using their filters, whatever. So 2 of those filter trays, 1 rotating. Just slide in like that. And then what I love about this matte box as well is it is clamp on and rod adjustable. So first let's look at clamp on. Let me go ahead and take this back off the rig. And then the way this works is every single one of these matte boxes that you buy have a ring just like this that are already set up inside of the matte box. And the way this works is you also get one of these guys. This is a kind of like a step-up ring, but it's built to have the matte box clamp on it. So the idea is you have your lens, you buy one of these for each of your lenses. This one is an 82 millimeter thread. You thread it on your lens, and then you take the matte box and the lens kind of pops in there, and then you tighten it down with this little knob right here. And now we have, our lens set up with the clamp on. Now this works all right, but the problem is now you can't put anything on this lens, and your caps won't work, nothing. So I don't really like this at all. So we're gonna go ahead and modify this a little bit. First thing is you go out to Genus Tech and you buy this guy. It's an 80 millimeter ring. And so we're gonna go ahead and pull out this old ring. These are kind of finicky most of the time. There we go. And so we're gonna take that out. And all this is a ring that goes into the matte box like so, just like that. And then as you tighten this knob, it tightens up that ring. So now we can take our modified lens, drop it in here, tighten this down, and now we have, a clamp-on matte box. And what's cool is this whole rod setup can completely be removed. So if you have, honking lenses that you're okay with a big matte box like this, you can go ahead and mount it like that. And the beauty is it works in conjunction with the rod support. So now what I want to do is show you both together, and I'm also going to show you this swing away adapter. You can buy a swing away from Genus Tech. I happen to get a really great deal from Zacuto on theirs, and they have some, it's built like a tank. And whenever I can get Zacuto gear, on the cheap, you can't pass that up. So here is the swing away right here. The beauty of this is it's double jointed, so it's not just one, joint. So let's go ahead and put it on here. I'm gonna close it up here. It has a really nice locking knob at the bottom that lets you lock it in place. So we're gonna go ahead and attach this like so. And as you can see here, I'm able to use the clamp on with the actual rod setup, and now we have an absolutely rock solid connection between our lens and the actual matte box. So it's a great setup. You really can't go wrong with this. And so let's go ahead and look at the actual swing away here. Angle this in a way that you can see everything a little easier. So you just flip that knob, and then as you'll see, because it's clamp on, we can't just swing it away. It has to, the whole matte box has to move forward and then swing away. So loosen it up, loose forward, just like that, boom. Swing it away, swap lenses out, all that kind of thing. And then, just like you put it on, it's really easy. Lock it down if I can find the knob, there it is. Another accessory I like to use with the PV matte box is a set of Nun's knickers. And what this is it's just a flexible kind of cloth that works with any lens. So you don't have to, you know, if you have a bunch of different lenses or lens lengths, this can be a nice setup to quickly switch out lenses and not have to worry about clamping it on every time, or, you know, using rings or donuts or any of that silly stuff. So what you do is you take out that ring that's comes with your matte box, set that aside, take your Nuns Knickers, and you just slide this puppy in the matte box, tighten it down, and now when you add this, you'll have a really nice, quick and easy to adjust setup here. Let me spin it around for you. Tighten it down, and now you can see I can put kind of a range of different lens sizes on here without having to worry about, you know, moving the matte box forward and back all the time. And if you work with a swing away, it makes it really easy to swap out lenses, and you know, it's not really a big deal at all. Boom, so that is the Genis PV. I love this thing. You can use any, you know, filter size, 4x4 or 4x5.6. You have two filter trays, one rotating. You can clamp it on, you can use the rod system, you can do both, all the flags, great setup. Price on this starts at $450, so it is a little more expensive. And then, you know, you can add on all the other stuff, get a swing away from Genis or Zacuto, and all that good stuff. So now we're gonna move on to our next matte box. I'm really excited about this next one because it's one of my favorite matte boxes out there. It does its job perfectly. It's very minimal, which, you know, I really dig for using with just a cage or something. And it's cheap. It's $200 brand new, and that is the Genis Tech Light. So here it is here, and it's very light, obviously, as the name suggests. There's no compromises with quality though, so it's not like they made a cheap, crappy version of their other matte boxes. There is a catch though. You only have one tray, and it is clamp-on only, so you can't use it with rods. I kind of like this because it's really easy to attach, as we'll see in a second. But the beauty of this is you do still have your rotating filter stage. So this takes 4x4 filters, and it is a rotating stage, so I don't know if you can see that, but you can rotate your filter. So it's not like you're getting one fixed filter tray, which is cool. You can get a kit with the top flag or without. Set that aside, and here it is all stripped down. Now what I want to do is the same thing we did with this matte box. So we're going to take our 80mm ring and put it on this other matte box. Slap that on. Same setup as before when it comes out of the box. You know, you don't want to use those nasty rings that don't let you take advantage of the filter ring on the lens. So here we go. We've got the matte box. I'll show you how incredibly easy it is to attach. You just throw it on there. Looking at my monitor to see if I can get this thing level. Something like that. Done. And now you have your matte box. And another beautiful thing about clamp-on in this super light matte box is it works really well for a lot of photo lenses that do this. They telescope in and out. You can't really use this lens with a rod-based matte box. So on this matte box, because it's clamped on, it's light and it doesn't have anything attached to it, you can easily use a lens like this where the you know, the whole thing moves in and out as you change your zoom, and you're fine because the matte box travels with the lens. It's another great feature of a matte box like the Genis Tech Light. The other matte box is pretty heavy, and if you're using rods, you're stuck with a system like this. But with this matte box, I can go ahead and take this entire rig system, and I can be shooting like this. I don't need to have rods. It's so light. This thing is really, really light, and so it's just a great matte box. You can't go wrong with it. I think it's the perfect starter. Especially if you're okay with 4x4 filters, and I can't say enough good things about this. This is my first matte box. I had some cheap ones before this, but the first real one that actually worked well, and you just can't go wrong. Solid little matte box. So next I want to talk about the cheapest solution that I've found that I would accept for, you know, a good quality level, and that is the Photodiox filter holder. I've got one right here, and it's plastic. It's, you know, not the greatest. It has a metal ring, same as the other ones. You normally would screw this onto your lens, and it's just a you can't get any better, and you'll see in a second why I love this thing. So the first thing I did to this to really make it work is I added one of those magnetic filters so that this whole little setup just slaps right on the lens. And don't worry about this not being strong enough. This thing is pretty strong. I wouldn't stick a matte box on it for magnetic purposes, but for something this light, it's gonna be fine. So what I do, I take the ring and I slide it into the filter holder, snaps in just like that. And now you have a nice little filter holder for your lens. So now let's go ahead and throw some filters on this thing. You can have, I believe, you can modify this. So you can put like 3-4 filters in there. I mostly use 1 to 2 filters at a time. So first I'm gonna grab an ND filter. And we're gonna I'm gonna take this off to put this on. Make sure I get the grooves in there right. Slide it in just like that. And the way this works is if you look on where the filters slide in, there's little soft plastics, and they arc so that as you slide the lens in, friction is holding it in place. So now we're going to grab another lens. This is a ND Grad. And I'm going to stick this one in the front. So the beauty of this, again, like matte boxes that you can pull the tray half out, you can stick the filter in halfway, or go farther down like so. Really, really flexible. And then this whole thing just pops right on the lens, and it's just a fantastic little setup. So there you can see the Grad. I can push this down, do whatever I want. And it's $50, so that's pretty slick. Probably the cheapest option out there, and I really like this. And what I love about it is look how tiny this is. You can throw this in a bag with you, do some minimal shooting with it, and it's just so flexible. And the friction, you don't have to worry about. That filter is not going to go anywhere. So this is just a great solution, a super budget solution. And if you wanted to modify this further, there's another accessory that you can pick up from Dinkum Systems. And I have this right here, and it's just a little tiny eyebrow shade. And you can stick this on top of your camera and add that to the filter. So you could do something like this, throw that on there. Now you've got like a makeshift matte box. This thing's awesome because you can, shade it from any level. You can adjust the length of this, and I've done a video. If you don't want to buy this, you can make your own using stuff sitting around. And so that's just a great solution. $50, you can't really go wrong there. Would I use it with super expensive filters? Probably not. But if you're getting started and you just want to start playing with filters, you can't go wrong with something like this. So I'll put all this stuff at DSLRvideoshooter.com. Under this video, you'll find links to everything we talked about today. And don't get too crazy with thinking you have to have a super expensive matte box. I would try to match your matte box quality to your filter quality, or the level of production that you're working on. So if you have really cheap filters and you're just getting started, why not only sink $50 into it? But if you're going to start shooting a lot, something like a Genistech matte box is going to be the way to go. For more tutorials and reviews, check out DSLRvideoshooter.com. You'll find a lot more stuff like this. Also check out Filtration for Video Part 1, where we look at some cheap versus expensive filters, and then a couple popular filters and the reason to even use filters in the first place. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys online.